Because we have a lot of meanings we put to things, and we don't even realize we're doing it. There's so many times that you might be doing something and you don't realize that you associated it with something else, right? Now, there are some things that I'm sure that you tell yourself that you can't do. Would that be true? Can you think of things you say you can't do? Or you have a story around it. We talked about stories earlier, but maybe you have meanings to something where somebody looks at you the wrong way. And you decide the story of what they're really saying. You become psychics overnight. All of a sudden, I know what she was thinking. That look meant this. And then you get angry at that person. Before you know it, there's a fight that never could have even happened, but you decided that's what it meant. If you have a significant other, I've done this, I don't know if you've done it, but I've had where he'd make a face, and I'd go, what is he upset about now? What's going on? And then I'd say, what's wrong? And he'd go, nothing. And I'm like, nothing? Now, if a woman says nothing, you know it's nothing. It's not nothing, right? If a woman says nothing, you know it's not nothing. But when I said, what's wrong? He goes, nothing. And guess what it was? Nothing. Like, oh my God, it was really nothing. But I made that face mean that he was angry at me, he didn't like me, he wasn't in love with me. I mean, I made that face mean so many things. And it could have been that there was a time that he gave me that face when he was angry, and he didn't even realize he was making that face again, but I had a connection. I anchored an association to that emotion, that face, that anytime it happened, it meant this. I'm divorced, by the way. I was married once before. And I was going to college, and my dad told me I wanted to be a lawyer, and my dad told me that I was going for my MRS degree. So I got that twice, Mrs. But we have associations to things, and what happens is when somebody does something, you create these beliefs around it and you don't even realize you're doing it. And the reason I say if you were divorced is a lot of times I find that people who've been married before bring a lot of emotions and bring a lot of toxic meanings to relationships. And where I see it show up the most is when somebody does something, a new person in their life comes into their life, and somebody does something and it looks similar, it sounds similar, you can make it similar, but it's not. And you then take whatever happened in that first relationship and you make it apply to the next. And all of a sudden somebody does something, you go, oh, my ex did that, that's the same thing. But it's not the same thing because it's not the same person, it's not anything like that. But we do that a lot in different situations. And the challenge is we need to become aware of it. So let's talk about some of the things that we need to, where some of the words come in when we're creating these, when we need to change the emotions. So what are some words that you might use that don't serve you? Does anybody have any words that you might use that don't serve you? He's so aggravating. What else? You cannot do it. Any others? Okay.
It's your fault.
It's your fault. What are some words you say that disempower you? I don't know. So what happens is when we say could, would, should, try, and all these words, anything that follows negates it. So when someone says, I don't know, they do know because they always know the answer. It's an easy way to not have to deal with something. If I say, don't do this, what do you think is going to happen? You're going to do that. Do you have any children? Okay. You say, don't do that. And what do? Do it. Because the mind does not hear the word don't. It doesn't. It doesn't hear don't, should, would, try, could, might. It doesn't hear it. So if you want somebody to do something, you say, don't be home before 11. Because then they'll be home before 11. Do you understand? The mind does not hear the word don't. So how you use it is important. So when you turn around and you tell people, don't do that to me, what are they going to do? Exactly what you told them not to do. Exactly. You're actually teaching them how to treat you because your mind doesn't hear it. Now what happens is, what if you said stop? Because stop is a command and they might actually stop doing it. Now, I happen to be a licensed master NLP practitioner. I studied with Dr. Bandler. Dr. Bandler and Grinder actually created NLP, and that's where Tony Robbins learned from. So I decided to be trained by the people who created it. And one of the things I found totally fascinating about language, neurology, is how our brain works, linguistic, how our language associates with it, and how we program our thoughts, is that we literally program ourselves for good or bad. So every time you say disempowering words, your mind does not know the difference from false or fiction and truth. It doesn't know the difference between fiction and truth. So if you tell it something, it believes you. It takes 20 positive statements to counteract one negative. So if you say to yourself, oh, I'm so stupid, you need 20 good things to make that cancel, 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 cancel. Dr. Roger did. You need 20 good things to counteract one negative. When you turn around and you say, I try, I might, I would, or should, I could, you're like beating yourself up because all these things you're saying, I'm not good enough again. You're back to the old behaviors. What if these words didn't exist in your vocabulary? What do you think life would be like? Life would be like?